Your podcast. My name is Frank. I am the host of the show. On this podcast, I discuss and review movies new and old. The setting's a little bit different for this episode. I'm actually uh, staying at an event where my son's going to be competing tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Having some family in the area to watch that as well, so that's going to be a lot of fun. On this episode, I'm going to discuss the movie Prisoners. And this one's interesting because this is directed by Denis Villeneuve. I'm sure I'm butchering his name. Uh, Well-renowned Canadian director. He's directed a few films, most notably recently the Dune films. He directed the Blade Runner sequel and also directed Arrival. So he's a critically acclaimed, Oscar-nominated director. But for me, I saw Arrival, which is the only other film I've seen of his before I watched Prisoners. And I've got to say, I know a lot of people love The Arrival. I was not a big fan of that movie at all. So I don't know what the critical response is. I know I remember it at the time getting great reviews, and I watched it on video after the fact because of the great reviews, and I just was not a big fan of it. So, and I haven't seen any of his other films. The Blade Runner sequel really didn't interest me. And regarding Dune, that's never really interested me as a subject matter. I've never even seen the David Lynch 1984 version of Dune. It's just a story that just doesn't speak to me at all or give me a desire to watch it. Maybe one day I will. I just haven't had the opportunity to do that. But regarding Prisoners, it's a film that he made in 2013, and I had seen clips of it and kind of the story about it, and it did kind of uh, get my attention. And I know that's an early film of his, so I think it kind of went under the radar for a while. I know it got good reviews when it came out, but I think that was before he really became, big. I think Arrival really set him on a course to become a big name director. So I finally decided to watch it, and I'll discuss it on tonight's episode. Before I get into that, though, if you want to support the show, there's a QR code here on the left. You can click on there and contribute. One of the best and free ways to support the show is to subscribe wherever you listen or watch it. As far as listening to this podcast, you can get it pretty much wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google. You can get it on iHeartRadio, Amazon. So yeah, especially if you have an Amazon Alexa at home, you can just ask Alexa to play the latest episode of the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. It'll pop it right up. And of course, if you listen to it, you can listen to it anywhere. You can go to the website. The website is letmebendyourear.com, and that has every episode there all the way back to the beginning. So one of the ways you can support the show, I'm trying to grow the audience on both the video end and the audio end. So on the audio, wherever you listen, if you can rate and review, that is hugely important to grow the audience, and it also moves the podcast up in the algorithm, or however they do it, for people looking for a movie podcast to listen to. On the video end, the show is available on X, on YouTube, and on Rumble. So I would ask the same thing. If you could uh, click and subscribe, especially on YouTube and Rumble, you'll get notifications when the show goes live. If you don't want notifications for live episodes and you want to watch it at your leisure, that's totally fine. If you could still subscribe and just turn off notifications, that'll be fine. And then you can watch it at your convenience. I'm just trying to build that subscriber base on YouTube for sure, and on Rumble as well. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. All right, so let's get to the review. So Prisoners, again, was released in 2013. The film co-stars Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, also Paul Dano and Terrence Howard. So as the film opens, it's set in a fictional town in Pennsylvania, and there are two girls, Anna Dover and Joy Birch, that are at dinner at Thanksgiving, and they leave the party them on their own, and they go around an RV that's parked, and they go missing. So hours go by. Once their families realize they're missing, obviously the police are involved, and Detective Loki, who's played by Gyllenhaal, responds and starts to investigate. So he goes to the RV that matches the description, and there's a man inside named Alex Jones, played by Paul Dano. Loki interrogates Jones, and it's quite apparent from the interview that he has some very diminished mental defects or deficiencies. He's not very intelligent. He can tell right away. So he doesn't really see him as someone that's capable of kidnapping two girls and making them disappear. So Loki continues his investigation, kind of the normal process when you're trying to find, missing children of any kind, running down local sex offenders, trying to find criminals that are in the area, and just starting that investigation. And in the course of his investigation, he finds a corpse in the house of a priest named Patrick Dunn, who admits to killing this person after this person confessed to murdering 16 children for his war on God. So back to Alex Jones. The police release him because they have nothing to keep him on. There's no evidence to prove that he was involved in this crime and this kidnapping at all. So Alex's, excuse me, not Alex's father, I'm sorry. Alex says something to Keller Dover, played by Hugh Jackman, about his daughter, or about just says a random statement that says they didn't cry till I left them. So this immediately convinces Keller that Alex kidnapped his daughter. So the police obviously have released him. Keller basically decides to take the law into his own hands, and this escalates to the point where he kidnaps Alex and takes him to an empty building that he owns, that he's renovating, because that's his line of work. So he convinces the father of the other missing child, Franklin, played by Terrence Howard, to help him. So Franklin is kind of reluctant for this whole situation. Obviously, he wants to find his daughter, but going far enough to kidnap the supposed perpetrator was beyond what he wanted to do, and plus he doesn't know if this guy is guilty. So a lot of prisoners, it basically takes place in this scenario with Keller interrogating Alex and beginning to torture him. And of course, Alex is continuing to protest his innocence, doesn't admit to anything. It escalates, and that's the main drive of prisoners. So regarding performances, the performances are phenomenal all the way around. Led by Hugh Jackman. It's probably a different role for Hugh Jackman. He's just obviously his daughter is missing. He's very angry. It's a very, very full-coiled, tense performance. So it's kind of out of the realm of what he does normally. Obviously, he's Wolverine. He's done romantic comedies. He's very versatile. But this is a unique role that I've seen him in, a unique performance that I've seen him in. Terrence Howard does a great job as well. Obviously, he's kind of doesn't know what to do here. At first, he wants to help because he wants to get answers, but then he sees how far Keller is going in his interrogation and torture of Alex, that he wants no, at a point, he wants no part of it. So great performance there as well. Paul Dano, who's always fantastic, despite what Quentin Tarantino has to say about him, is very, very good in this movie as Alex Jones. But the tension, because you're trying to figure out, is Keller right? Is this guy guilty? Is he innocent? And that's the tension in the movie, obviously, in trying to find whether these girls are where they are, and if they are alive or deceased. So that's the thrust of Prisoners. It's basically that. So I don't want to give too much away, but to say that, as it goes to the third act, and it goes to the climax, it's pretty fantastic. And when you get towards the end of the movie, and the story is revealed, and what happened in this particular case with the kidnapping, the resolution is the ending is unbelievable. It's quite good, and it fully realizes the story. It's tense all the way to the very, very end, and I enjoyed it immensely. So as far as Denis films are concerned, like I said, I was not a big fan of Arrival. I haven't seen the other ones. This, on the other hand, I was a big fan of. I thought it was very well executed. Like I said, it's a movie full of fantastic performances, led by Hugh Jackman, who's really, really good. And this is one of the best performances I've seen him put on film. So I'm glad that I ended up watching it. And again, I would I don't want to go deeper into the story because I don't want to give anything away. Because I think if you watch it fresh without having seen it before, you'll be riveted and you'll be satisfied by the third act and the climax of the movie. Because normally I would probably go a little bit deeper, but I don't want to do that. What I will say is regarding cinematography. So the legendary Roger Deakins shot the movie, and so the movie looks fantastic. It's the dreariness of the story is echoed in the cinematography, and like I said, the movie, it just basically tightens the grip and never lets up. So I think, like I said, I'm a big fan of it. I think it was very, very well done. And again, I can't say enough about the performance of Hugh Jackman. So I'm going to go ahead and give Prisoners 4 stars out of 5. So on my scale, that means it's a very, very good movie. It's a movie that I would recommend, and it's a movie that I would definitely watch again. And again, I was pleasantly surprised because I wasn't sure going in, based on my not, my negative view of Arrival, how I would feel about this film. But I was very happy that I watched it. It was very, very well done. Very, very well done. I was very, very pleased with it, very impressed with it, very impressed with the performances. So again, I'm going to give Prisoners 4 stars out of 5, directed by Denis Villeneuve and starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Terrence Howard, and Paul Dano. So again, I want to thank you for watching and listening to the show. As I've continued to try to promise, I'm going to try to get more episodes out. That's why I wanted to take my equipment with me when I'm on the road and do a quick episode. I may do another one this weekend if I have an opportunity, and review another film as well. But again, if you want to support the show, the QR code is right up here on the left, or you can go to the X page, which is at Bend Your Ear Pod. That's also the handle for Instagram. You can find episodes, or you can find my post there, but definitely on X. I'm on there all the time, talking movies. So please feel free to interact with me there. You can email the show at bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. Again, the website is letmebendyourear.com. You can download every single episode all the way back to the first one if you don't use a podcasting feed. And again, I want to ask if you are a fan of the show, or you want to help support the show. And if you cannot do that financially, the best way to do it, and it costs nothing, is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, you can choose to get notifications for live, or you don't. You could just subscribe and then watch it at your leisure. And please click and subscribe and rate and review wherever you listen to the podcast, if you listen to it audio wise. Again, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google. They're available pretty much anywhere. Actually, if you go to Google and type in "Let Me Bend Your Ear Podcast," it'll probably pull up wherever you can get it. And it's also available on Amazon. But wherever you listen, if you can, 1, subscribe, and 2, rate and review, I would really appreciate that. So again, I want to thank you for watching and for listening. Like I said, hopefully there'll be another episode this weekend. And again, also you can watch the video podcast on the Facebook page. I forgot to mention that a little bit earlier. That is the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. So if you can like that page as well, you can watch the video episodes of the show. So again, thank you everyone for watching and listening and supporting it. I really appreciate it. And again, hopefully I'll have another episode this weekend. But until then, take care. I hope everybody's doing well, and have a great weekend.